Careful what you say or you'll get tickled.
Cool. Good morning or good night or
morning. Oh boy.
Good morning.
Welcome to our sleep deprivation exploration of
Nice.
nightmares.
Dave's got the colors going on.
Dave is just like,
If we're talking about dreams, let's go psychedelic.
There it goes, right out the nose.
psychedelic.
Psychedelic.
Oh, hey John. I see John's in there in the chat room. Do we time travel? I guess. Red Man, how are you? Well, I just, who knows? Like the Sandman, I saw John Kennedy kind of say that would have been a good some good research for the show tonight, but I can't quite get into that show just yet. Hey Bob, but I did end up just kind of thinking of a topic and nightmares, and I think I ran across another one of those topics with where you wake up paralyzed, and I can't think of the word
Sleep
now.
paralysis.
Sleep paralysis.
Yes, and I didn't want to do another sleep paralysis.
I can't remember the word for when you're sleeping and you're paralyzed.
Yeah, what is that?
That's
What's
brain
that called?
paralysis.
Jesus. I told you at the beginning when we were like before we came on, I was like, my God, I made that drink way too strong. Yeah, so I don't want to do another one, but so it just kind of made me think about some dream interpretation and like where it got started and if there's any validity to it, and what just kind of maybe chat for a little bit about like what's that all about. And yeah, it didn't take long to find out what it's all about, but we'll break that down a little bit later. But it did kind of branch off into some really interesting things. So yeah, I'm here for it. What about you guys?
All right.
All
right, I'll go.
You go.
Interesting topic. Read a lot about this. I think even all the way back in a high school psychology class, we learned about dream analysis, Freudian dream analysis, which was always funny. And it was great because I remember the teacher of that class, he's like, okay, I'm going to start off by just somebody telling me what one of their dreams were last night. And this poor girl in class was telling him about her dream. And he's, he goes from this to, and he goes, oh, and she's like freaking out, like, what's wrong? And he's like, ooh, you might want to go talk to somebody. My God. So anyway, he had her going, but then got into the class and we learned a couple different techniques of dream analysis. And even back at that time, the interpretation of the symbolic meaning of dreams, that pretty much was thrown out the window, even back in high school days. And I won't exactly say how long ago that was, but it was a while ago. So it's an interesting topic. We all have pretty cool or vivid dreams, things you wake up and you're like, wow, that was crazy. Interesting dream. But the bottom line is it's still a mystery. I mean, there's no absolute scientific theory on linking the content and meaning to dreams about what's going on. They're difficult to study because I don't know about you guys, but I don't remember a lot of my dreams. I don't wake up a lot at night. I guess that's part of the reason I don't remember a lot of dreams, or if I do remember one, within an hour, I'm like, what the hell was that dream about? It was a great dream. Then you get into the science of why you actually dream, everything from consolidation of memory to cognitive functioning to random biological activity in the brain that results in some sort of visual hallucination, I guess, for lack of a better word. And what does it all mean? Obviously, you can find meaning in it. You can find meaning in any dream. If you have something that's bothering you, some people say that if it's a reoccurring nightmare, reoccurring dreams that have a certain emotional component that may have something to do with something that's going on in your life, or something that's affected you pretty profoundly. But then again, it could be due to, different medications, alcohol, sleep apnea, all kinds of different things. So, yeah, Kenny must have some crazy dreams. Rum based
They're all
dreams.
pirate dreams.
Arr.
I think it's pretty interesting because this actually then weaves its way into the paranormal and parapsychology, from dream telepathy to supposed after death communications to premonitions. So there's a variety of different topics and areas we can go with this, and it should provide a couple good rabbit holes to wander down as we make our way through the conversation tonight.
I think it will.
Yeah. And I'm right there with you. I mean, it's dreams are just fucking weird. I mean, to be honest, you're right. I spent this morning and this afternoon looking in between other projects, looking for science behind dreams. And I found different ideas, different hypotheses of why we dream. Some is to promote creativity. Some is to promote or to figure out dangers. It's like a danger simulation. Almost like, hey, like there's a certain situation that's coming up or I've experienced, and the dream is to work through those in a safe environment, like a holodeck for us Star Trek.
Oh, holodeck. That is so badass. How did I not think of that? The threat simulation theory. Yeah.
He's living up to his shirt, talking nerd to us all.
Nerdy to me. I mean, it's interesting. And Dave, you brought it up. You mentioned about hallucination. And it's weird. Like, are dreams hallucinations? I mean, if that's the case, then do we go a step further or maybe a step to the side and say any kind of thought is a hallucination? Because if I can visualize something now, am I hallucinating it? Or
yeah, I think they're just using it from the sense of there's no external stimuli that's doing generating it. It's all internally generated, and you got to be careful, obviously, when we use that word hallucination. There could be some negative baggage associated with it. It's not always negative. Sometimes it just simply means there's a lack of external stimuli.
Right. So, I mean, I was coming across different things, and like for the National Sleep Foundation, according to them, the average person dreams 4 to 6 times per night. But from other stuff that I've read, you only remember the last one is because you wake up. And that's your best chance of remembering any dreams. And I hardly ever remember dreaming. I don't remember anything from them. It's usually like very intense. And I don't know. I can't even recall what my last dream was about. But that's just me. Are they interpreted? Can you interpret them? I don't know. I mean, are they random stimuli? Is it random bits coming together and you're just following a story? Or is there some deeper meaning to it inside your brain? I have no idea. I couldn't find anything that was conclusive.
No, I couldn't either.
And for dream interpretation, I mean, I'm sure we're going to get into that, but I mean, that's like, I mean, what do certain things? I think Dave, you mentioned symbolism. Like what does a symbol mean to you, and what does it mean to me? What does it mean to Tim? One thing, one object can mean 3 different things to us.
Sometimes
or have different
cigar
memories.
is just a cigar.
Yeah, so. As for opening statements, I think that was all over the place, but there you go. That's my opening statement for dreams.
Well, I like the concept. It seems like I've seen it here recently about dreams being half your brain is coming up with a story for the other half of of your brain. And even though it's all your brain, you're still shocked and amazed by where this story is coming from. And, you have no clue. That's probably the most wild thing about it, I think. It's your brain that's coming up with the stories that's your brain doesn't know what's happening. So that's kind of cool, I think. Well, I'll start out.
I'm never surprised. I'm never surprised.
In your own dream?
I mean, no. I mean, usually, I think from what I recall, when I do realize I'm dreaming, that's when I wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's usually, and it's only been in the recent, like last 10, 15 years, because I think it's my, I can't help but stop and say, wait a minute, something's not right. Mm-hmm. Something's wrong. And then I wake up. So, yeah.
I can't remember. I've had one dream that I remember a little bit about, and that was just because it was like maybe last week. But I typically have pretty violent dreams, so it like wakes me up in the middle of it. The kind of dream where you're like you wake up and you're still breathing heavy because you're like in a fight.
Right.
I remember those just because, and that's not even true to say. Like I just remember like the last little bit of it. But otherwise, God, I can't remember the dream I had before that one. I can't remember him at all. But
that's weird. I you know what? I'm trying to think. I'm sitting here thinking like, what was the last dream I can recall? And one was just for some reason I was in down Center City, Philly, and like an old neighborhood, and I realized that I knew how to fly. But even though I could do it, I was trying to figure out how to turn it on. So I remember running down the middle of the street and jumping, and I'd float for like a few feet and then come back down and run because like I got to figure it out. And that was it. I did it like 4 or 5 times, and
it's like the greatest American hero.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Exactly. But,
well, I guess I can right off the bat when I started looking under Google Scholar and trying to find something backing up the validity, of our or the interpretations or something founded in science on the interpretation. I could not find it. Let me put it that way. I could not find that. And as a matter of fact, I found several that were to the contrary that say that there are none yet. Now, with that said, it doesn't mean that doesn't mean that it's not used in some beneficial way, especially if you want to go that way with if you have any type of therapy that can use that type. Even then, from what I read, it's not that the therapist or the psychiatrist or psychologist is trying to interpret your dreams, but trying to help you identify what the dreams mean to you. So it's more about the questions of how do you feel about that? How did you feel when that happens?
Mm-hmm.
Is there something in your life that might be causing you stress? And it's just an avenue for helping the person kind of open up and tap into some feelings. But I don't think, at least in anything that I've read there, that the psychiatrist, psychologist, social worker, therapist, whatever, is actually trying to pick something out of the dream and say, well, this means that you don't like the color blue. Shit, I don't know.
Yeah.
And your husband loves it, so you secretly hate him, and that's what this means.
Wow, that was extreme.
Yeah. Well, it's dream interpretation.
Yeah, I think the one thing I found that they differentiate between is symbolism versus meaningfulness. So the symbolism, like I think what you were maybe getting at, Tim, that whatever the color blue is symbolic of your relationship with whoever you said, your significant other and
your partner,
and they like blue and you hate it and whatever, you hate them. I don't, whatever crazy psychological reasoning would happen there, but meaningful. I mean, at least in a couple of the dream researchers I came across, they say they can be meaningful to you. As far as symbolism, though, not too sure. It was interesting because they talked about doing content analysis of all these dreams, tons of different dreams, and they're finding that there tend to be more cultural and belief based themes and symbolism potentially with dreams as opposed to things that might just be individual to you. But meaningfulness, they talk about like if there's personal conflicts and emotional struggles that you deal with in your daily lives, those can sometimes make their way through some sort of dream imagery. But they're saying that might not even be meaningful until you assign meaning to it, knowing what's been going on in your life and what you're dealing with. So the one thing they did point out though, and I want to make sure I get this right, is when you're sleeping and dreaming, you cannot access the part of your brain that's involved in understanding or metaphors. So the at least this one or two researchers that I was reading into, they're saying basically, well, you don't have that ability as you sleep to form metaphors, which would be more symbolic. So meaningful, sure. You can have a dream and wake up and it can be meaningful, but overall symbolism like you see in all the books and notice like the 10,000 dream symbols. They have like three different levels of symbols and it's like, okay, well if I read any one of those, sure. I can find something in there that is going to be meaningful to me based on the dream I had. So I think there's a fine line between symbolism and maybe meaningfulness.
Yeah, I think it reminds me of astrology. Kind of in our chats, I guess, back and forth, going through it. It's almost like if you just read enough, you'll find something that'll make you feel like that's me. That's what it means. You can you can identify with something that you see, and then you believe that it's you, or you believe that relates to you. And it's not necessarily, it might be true, it might not be true. But there's not a whole lot. The symbolism, I think, which is really interesting, because I'll start out with Freud, even though I found far back as I didn't get the date, but Egyptians really took this culturally very seriously. So they were like all about it. They even had dream interpreters that you would go to, like you would go to a doctor to talk to you. But skipping ahead, just because we're kind of there, 1900, Freud, the book, Dream Interpretation. He came up with that idea because of his dream, which is called Irma's injection. Basically, what it was he had a patient that he was trying to treat. I didn't read what it was for, but she refused his recommendations for treatment, and he didn't like it. And he was really upset about this. And he had a dream where he was in like a party or a ball, and he saw her there, and he went over and pulled her to the side and basically ostracized her and gave her shit for not taking his advice. And after that, he spent, and I want to say, correct me, it sounds like you saw the same article, but it seemed like he spent years analyzing this dream. Like he really got into it and came up with the dream analysis. He went on to say later that he didn't believe everything that he was saying about dreams. He admitted that he wasn't sure of any of its validity. But basically, he kind of figured out that the dreams were a way to deal with what our conscious brain wants or is thinking that might be taboo or you can't obtain. And the reason there's so much symbolism in the dreams is because it's so taboo or so embarrassing that you won't allow yourself to just outright dream it. So different things take on different meanings, and he works with the patient to figure out what that is to you. So Carl Jung came up next and added it. So this is where he kind of he put in that that symbols did have universal, that he felt that there are universal symbols in dreams, but they were kind of like wise old people, sages, evil people.
More like archetypes, right?
Yes, archetypes. Yeah, exactly. And that he also believed that dreams would give you hints to future events. So I'm not too sure that was ethical back then, but I hope I have a dream of, if I could only dream of 6 numbers to win the lottery, we would have our own fucking laboratory, and then we would just do this shit all the time. We'd have all the stuff we wanted. It'd be great.
I don't think I've ever had a prophetic dream or anything that predicted the future.
I've had a dream that I thought didn't predict it, but preceded an event. So I cannot remember. I guess we're bouncing. So I guess I had a dream that I was an underwater rescue diver, and I was on a scene to a train accident where lots of cars were under the water, and I was going down and I was retrieving bodies.
I was wondering how you were going to connect it.
So
where's it going?
It was going over a bridge, and the bridge collapsed, and I was retrieving bodies from underneath. Even at night, I was retrieving bodies and bringing them back up for the people on the shore. Woke up, found out later that day that a train somewhere, I think maybe Washington, did derail and go into a river with several people that had drowned. Do I think I dreamt about that? No, I don't. I would lay that probability on just a coincidental thing. But is it kind of freaky when I think about it? A little bit. I mean, I'm not going to lie, but I don't think for a minute that I had any premonition or any idea that it was happening from something that was happening in the plane of existence. Right. I would more likely believe that my brain was picking up radio waves as it was being aired as an emergency. So that's the closest thing that I can ever think that I had a dream that had something to do with reality.
I can't say I've ever had anything. I mean, and again, this is personal experience, and I think that might be one of the issues with this, is that these are all, I wouldn't say subjective. It's people are recalling something from a dream state, and they're trying to remember details. Are they getting them correct? Nobody knows. And I guess what happens is afterwards, we're interpreting them after the fact. So we're trying to apply meaning after we've already thought about it. And this has happened a bunch of times. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I've gotten emails from people saying, hey, I had this dream last night or the other night that something happened, or I saw my friend who died and this and that. And what do you think that means? And I mean, I have no freaking clue. I don't know what it means, but if it means anything. Mm-hmm. But I think we're always applying meaning after the fact. If we're going to apply meaning, like not all of us do. I don't get up after a dream, at least that I can recall, and said, oh, I have to sit here and figure this out. This obviously means something. I've never done that. But I'm sure there's people out there that do. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure, because I see how much people charge to do that, which we'll get into later. But I mean, there's some people that do that, and they get up and they overanalyze. Like, oh, I did this, I did that. What does that mean? Is this a symbol for this? I have no idea where I'm going with this. It's okay. I really don't. It's such a confusing topic.
I think what you might be getting at is something I came across called the activation synthesis theory. And this is where you're trying to make sense of random biological activity. So your brainstem, I guess, is sending random electrical discharges, and then it goes over the cerebral cortex, and it leads to a sensation, memory, and motivation. And then the meaning is assigned as an afterthought,
right?
Which could be part of it. However, there's some interesting data coming out with dreams that are supposedly premonitions or after-death communications or dream telepathy, that they have a rating system on how vivid dreams are. You can actually rate it now based on your other dreams and specific ones. And it's interesting when you get into these things that people say are premonitions, telepathy, or after death communications, or have more meaning. They claim that they're way more vivid than normal dreams. Of course, they go back and forth and argue, is it more vivid because, or are you remembering it because it was more vivid, or was it more vivid just because of the impact it had on you?
Right.
Or is there truly something different about it? But there's a couple different studies that take a look at that, and then they also start tying in magnetic field, geomagnetic field of the Earth, and they're seeing different levels of vividness and some of these other stranger anomalous phenomena associated with different levels of vividness and geomagnetic activity. So it's interesting. And I think John said, can you send me the article on that, Dave? There's more than one, John, so I'll dig them up and I'll have to send them over to you. It's interesting. I mean, the more they learn, I mean, they're not saying for sure it's one thing or another, but they're noticing some trends in the data that people that have these other type of dreams that they think are more meaningful and might be something more to it might be, they tend to have a higher vividness rating than other dreams.
Right. It's interesting that you said about how some are considered premonitions. Is there enough detail? I mean, it has any, and I'm not expecting you to give me a
they're trying to study that, but I haven't seen anything come out. There's something called the Premonition Project a couple years ago. I knew the guys that were running it, and they tried to collect good descriptions both from dreams and just normal waking premonitions, and never saw anything afterwards. I think they were having a hard time getting good quality detailed descriptions of what the premonitions were to be able to statistically analyze them against real world events.
I'm sure, because I mean, when you think about it, you'd have to have someone as soon as they wake up allegedly having this premonition to be able to describe it right away and you having the details instead of not retrofitting that I mean, people, I'm sure.
Yeah, they would almost, I mean, I think they tried some people have tried dream journals. Other ones have recommended having a small digital recorder. And as soon as you wake up, just start saying what it was as much as you can, because within minutes it starts to fade.
Right.
But I'm really not aware of any recent data on that.
Yeah. I think I was going exactly the direction Kenny went. Was are you going back and filling in like that's like you would need a really well written prediction prior to
or even like
the problem is normal dreams themselves are cluttered with a bunch of bullshit and weirdness. So how do you get through all that to extract what the real details of the premonition or the anomalous vision or whatever you had are attributed to what's really going on, or are just random things firing? Because I don't know about you guys, some of the dreams I remember, you're like hopping all over the place. It's like, man, can we stick with a fucking topic for 3 minutes?
This is like another Three Tortured Souls show all over again.
It's like the week before we have a show. We're all over the place.
I had kind of a little bit on that. There was I'm not sure. Actually, I'm very positive this isn't the name of the study, but I had it just briefly as the downhill video game study. So I don't know if you ran across that, where they put people that have not played this very particular video game, and they wanted them to work on it and learn from skills, and they broke it up into different groups. I'm sure you understand it, but there was a lot of people that did it constantly, and then there were some people that just did it a little bit. And they could actually predict which group would have more, because there was a reward for the outcome, and I can't remember what the reward was, but with the reward of an outcome of doing better, people that did it a lot and had lots of practice with it, and people that didn't do it a lot and didn't have a lot of practice of it, you could predict that the people that wanted the reward but didn't have enough time to practice would dream about the game more than the people that had a lot of practice. and they came out with very similar skill sets. And one of the hypotheses that they came out with that was, and it's a hypothesis, was that sometimes your dreams are just ways to replay skill sets that will help keep you alive, and help make whatever you're trying to do better, I guess, for lack of a better word. So you can improve your skill sets through your dreams and store long-term memory better.
It's a holodeck.
It's a holodeck.
It's a holodeck.
I want a holodeck. It's going to take more than one fucking lotto to build.
Yeah.
It's going to
take a lot more than that.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. Like, that was something that was in my kind of wheelhouse from school, university. Was like, yeah, so you give these people some, and of course you had a control that just didn't do shit, but you have like this, you have a reward, and they're like, yeah, you only get to practice on this game for like 15 minutes, and if you get good, you get an A. We're going to take away your worst grade for the semester and change it for an A, which is like a great reward if you're a student in statistics. And the dream allegedly the dream helped improve the skill. That's at least what they were thinking.
That's cool.
Oh, let's see. I had a couple questions that I don't want to get too far away from them. So let me go back here. Start with this one. Does anyone still remember dreams or pieces of dreams that they had as children or teens?
So the only one, the one that I described, that's the only one that I remember. And I think I remember it because, it was cool. It's cool. I'm a big Superman fan, so I've always wanted to fly. And I mean, that's just, it's something that stuck with me. And that's it, though. Like, I can't recall anything else. I can recall the after effect. I remember early on when Donna and I were dating, I woke up. I slept late. I woke up screaming, like in the middle of a scream. No idea. Had no recollection of any nightmare or dream or anything, but woke up in the middle of a scream. And that was just weird.
Yeah, the only one I remember is my grandparents' basement up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I used to have this dream that I was going down in the basement. It was always dark. The lights never worked, and it always felt like something was lurking down there. So, of course, every time I went to their house and I had to go down there because you couldn't turn the light on until you got to the bottom of the stairs, scared the shit out of me. I hated that fucking basement. So that was a reoccurring dream, and it's one of the few, if any, I can remember from childhood. And then there was one other one that had to do with something like being outside with friends at night, and like you could see a galaxy, like the arms of a spiral galaxy getting closer and closer. It was the coolest dream, but that's about it.
That is really cool.
And I thought, man, I wish that would happen. Never did. Fuck.
The only one I can remember, and I had it was a reoccurring dream, was getting away from, I'm going to guess it was probably Frankenstein. Like, I was very young, and it had to do with me running underneath and hiding underneath the bed in some room. Hell, I don't even know. But I just remember I was hiding under the bed, and like the big clunky boots would come and lay like all dumb monsters, like never look under the fucking bed when you're hiding there. And I remember watching them, and then they weren't leaving. So there was all of a sudden there was a trap door underneath me with the bed, and I tried to open the trap door and it never would open. But I think one of the things why I remember it is because in my dream I would spin the room in different orientations, thinking that would make a difference if I could open the door. So that's pretty much it.
Cool.
Any thoughts on lucid dreaming? I think we kind of touched on that.
I wish I could do it. It just seems so fucking cool.
Yeah.
That would
just be really cool.
I feel like I'm missing out big time.
Yeah. Then I would have a holodeck because I'd be doing some cool shit.
Tim would never wake up.
I don't wake up now, so. All right. Let's see. And this is a pretty good one, Redman, because we were just talking about this a little bit before. Do you think there will be technology that could play or record our dreams? Well, if I'm not mistaken, there already is technology. It's just not that good yet. From MIT, and MIT, when MIT puts it out, I would listen to MIT.
That article in the chat room.
Yeah, very briefly, right before the show started, I tried to find where they were recording it, and it was awful looking imagery, and but they were saying that they were recording some images, and of course it's like going back and like reconstructing what the person sees they can see in the video. It was just very poor pixelated imagery. Don't know if it's true or not, but when we came across that with MIT, again, I would try to. That's not me.
That's not me.
What was that?
That's not me either.
I don't have a window open, so I don't know where that came from.
It's a dream. Maybe I'm dreaming this, and then when I wake up, I'm going to have to do this show all over again.
It's definitely a dream.
We have ghosts.
I don't know where that came from. Weird.
All right. Hey, Jennifer. Dave, many people have dreams that last for hours and even longer, sometimes for years past waking. How do you differentiate these dreams between those and those who can't remember?
I honestly, I don't know. And we've talked about this. Jen and I have talked about this many times, and I really don't know. I mean, it's got to be something somebody's looked at, but it's interesting that you have dreams that go on and on and on. I mean, for hours. Like you go back to sleep and you have the same dream for the entire night, and then you go back to sleep the next night and you pick it back up. I really don't know. Dreams are certainly not anything close to my area of expertise, but to me, it's fascinating. I mean, it's really cool. How can you have a dream that goes on so long? I just don't get that, because I don't remember a lot of my dreams to begin with, and when I do, they seem like they're all over the place and they're hopping around. They don't go on and on. So I'm really speaking just from personal experience on that, but it's a topic I'd love to look into. But again, like the rest of us, I'm not afraid to say I don't know on that one. It's just super fascinating. I'd like to understand it more.
So I guess I don't agree with people that the idea that people dream for hours at a time. I don't think you're dreaming continuously for hours. Again, like according to the Sleep Foundation, they're saying you might spend as much as 2 hours over the course of one night. If you sleep for 8 hours, you might have about 2 hours worth of dreaming, but that's going in and out of REM sleep. Plus there's the perspective. I mean, if you are asleep, you can't keep track of time. So like if you're dreaming, honestly, we don't know how long we're dreaming.
So there was something I found in one of the old psychology books, that if you look at the total daily sleep and then you look at non-REM sleep and REM sleep, up until you're, I don't know, 8, 9, 10, 12 years old, you're looking at a 10, what is it, like how many hours of REM sleep? Maybe 2 to 3. And then as you get older, actually the amount of REM sleep goes down. You're talking maybe 1 to 2 hours a night. I wonder if it's more of I think we got to think about, it might not be just the total time, but if you're one of those people that wakes up and goes back to sleep and you can drop back into REM sleep, or you have, let's say you have sleep apnea or something that you're waking up a lot. It might not, it could be the amount of time, but it could also just be recurring. You could just be having the same thing, and it could be picking up.
I wonder. Yeah, I don't. That's
Because recurring dreams did come up in some of the searches I looked at, which was pretty interesting.
I mean, I don't remember multiple dreams. I don't recall ever remembering multiple dreams. And if we're dreaming like 4 or 5 times a night or 6 times a night, and you're only remembering the last one, again, like how do we know how long we spent dreaming? You know, I mean, it might have been. I don't know. This is weird. This is and you're right. You said it. I mean, I'm not qualified for this. You know, we're giving opinions based on what I read today. So
timing aside, though, it could be a reoccurring thing where you wake up and you remember, you go back to sleep, you jump back into it. I mean,
that'd be nice, like hitting the pause button. Like I gotta get up.
I mean, there's
I gotta pee.
It's kind of cool because I know people who do that, and it's crazy. They're like, yeah, I wake up, I'm having this dream, I go back to sleep, I'll have the dream again, and wake up again, and I just continue on. But I don't know what the time period is,
Right.
but I don't know if it's also, if she's asking if it's over, like you have the same dream and it just keeps building and continuing on over hours or days or when you're sleeping. So
That'd be interesting.
Not too sure, but I think it probably has something to do with the fact that people who do that, I'm going to hypothesize that it's probably because they wake up a lot. People that tend to remember their dreams more than others wake up a lot during the night.
That would make sense.
Their normal wake, non-REM and REM cycles are all fucked up compared to somebody else. I think to me, it's more of an issue of reoccurring, not just the total amount of time, but the reoccurring part's pretty cool, or the continuation.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I'd love to learn more about it, because I'd love to be. I mean, there's certain dreams we've all had where like, that is cool as hell, and I'd want to just kind of keep going back to it.
I should have got Dr. Porterfield on.
There you
I
go.
didn't think about it, but typically, I don't know if he would help with dream interpretation at all. But I know the questions about REM and everything else, especially sleep apnea and narcolepsy, and that he certainly could help out with. But I have to say, this is really fantastic that over this is like our 102nd show.
Yeah.
And of all the paranormal shit that we've done, everything else, we're all just sitting here going, of all the things we've done, it's like, man, dreams are fucked up. That's everything else we get. But when it comes to dreams, we're all like, man, this is just crazy shit. Like, I don't even know what to do with that.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think the dreams that, I mean, if you're talking about things that you just remember for a very long time, I think you're getting into the ones that might have more significant long-term concerns or emotions that you're dealing with, things that you're dealing with, because that tends to be one of the things they talk about with the recurring dreams. Is there might be something to that. There might be personality traits, defense mechanisms, beliefs about the world, your place in the world, that those reoccurring things that you remember a long time, that might be part of the reoccurring thing and why you remember them.
See, that's weird. Like for me, I don't dream about those things. I stay awake and stare at the ceiling thinking about those things, like running through scenarios in my head and, going through all kinds of like, what if I do this? What if I do that? Doing the whole Doctor Strange, looking at 14 million different scenarios, and over the course of a night before I go to sleep. And then I usually have some kind of resolution. Maybe that's why I don't dream about that kind of stuff. I usually try to go until I get a resolution or decide, all right, this is what I'm going to do tomorrow. Or actually in the morning, because it's usually tomorrow when I come to a conclusion. But yeah, I never have those issues. But that's just me. Maybe I'm just dead inside. I don't know.
Either that, or I mean, if you're remembering them for a long period of time, maybe it's just it had such an impact on you that it was a strong emotional dream.
So, I saw a comment, and let me see if I can find it. Bob, I've had some epic dreams that seem like they lasted for years. Nope, that's not the one. Sorry. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Here it is. It's still Bob.
Okay.
I wake up pissed off and I'm having an amazing dream, and then wake up from it. LOL, it can ruin my day. Absolutely, and I can absolutely emphasize with that. Empath, whatever that funny word is, but empathize. Fuck.
Empathize.
Yes, thank you. But it kind of goes back, just to kind of bring back what I really like about this is, and how it makes me think about interpreting or looking back at your own dreams is it just reminds me a lot about people picking their zodiac signs. And this is from a 2009 study by psychologists Carrie Morwedge and Michael Norton, that they found that dreaming of a plane crash has more influence on canceling a trip than conscious thought, a warning by authorities of a terrorist threat, or hearing about an actual plane crash. So there's more weight given if you dream about a plane crash, because you will think, I'm going to go out on a limb here, that is a more of a predictable sign from the universe not to get on that. It also goes on, and I don't have it here in this, but together results suggest that people engage in motivated interpretation. That's the word I was looking for. Motivated interpretation, which is just, to me, kind of like, it sounds like cherry picking your own thoughts to fit what you want it to. Well, I'm sure that's exactly what it means, but just a more expensive word.
Right.
But it's also, have you ever been like, even has your partner, wife, husband ever like had a bad dream about you, and then like woke up and they're pissed at you, and like very emotionally, like they're like, you were kissing another person, or you were supposed to pick me up at the airport and you didn't come, and they're so pissed, and you're like, you had a dream, it's not my fault.
I think Donna's had a dream like that. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I think she's had a dream where she got mad at me.
But that
I did. Yes,
but that to me tells me that it is also tapping into like another part of your brain that controls it, and it has to do with emotional stimulation, I guess, for lack of a better word. So that you can be so emotionally involved in a dream that when you wake from the dream, that you're still pissed at your partner because they did or didn't do something that they were supposed to or not supposed to do.
And I bet you they tend to remember those longer than the dreams that normally fade.
It'll come up.
Getting back to the whole emotional thing on how you might be remembering dreams.
Remember, you didn't do this thing and piss me off. Like, it's still a dream.
It's still a dream.
Years ago, but it's still a dream.
You're still a dick. I don't care. It was in a dream.
But I think that just that type of emotional what's involvement or in depth. I'm not even going to try that emotional indebtedness into a dream is very. It must be very realistic while you're in your dream. That you would still hold grudges like that. That's fascinating to me, probably more than a lot of the other stuff that I've read. Let me see. Here we go. Yeah, I once told my significant other that I was going to try to be nice to him that day, but I was pissed at him because of a dream. Yeah. I think my wife was subconsciously mad at me one time while we were dating. She had a dream that I was shot and killed outside of. Why would she be mad at you if you
you went and got shot? Damn it!
Damn you for dying.
Yeah, I had a dream about my husband once and stayed mad all day. Wow. Yeah, I think. Anyway, I know that's really weird, but for me, that is a very interesting topic for me. Yeah. So I have something else that we went through. I know we talked about the activation synthesis theory, which was really cool. Mm-hmm. The downhill video game, which I totally made up. It's not actually, it was a study, but it's not the name of it. The threat simulation theory, which Kenny talked about. And I read somewhere in the comments about showing up to like, you show up to take a test at school and you can't remember
your underwear.
Yes, that is a social simulation theory. So where we practice social situations and how to get out of it. But there's one more that I thought was very cool. And that is a hypothesis that dreaming was a way to keep the visual cortex of our brain activated at night so that we wouldn't lose the sensitivity in that skill set. Okay. So if you could imagine, I think you've probably heard, if you cover your eyes, it takes about an hour before your other senses start becoming more acute and picking up on the lack of visual stimuli. So tens of thousands of years ago, and I'm not saying this is true or not, I just found this one very interesting. Tens of thousands of years ago, when there was no light sky other than what was in the sky itself, there was a lot of sleep and a lot of poor lighting at night. So in order to keep visual cortex back in your brain, it's a very large place, to keep it very active and sharp and not to lose the ability that the brain gave a visual stimuli for that to happen, which would account for the rapid eye movements. I have no idea, but I just thought that was cool too.
Very cool.
Oh, I missed a question. Hold on, let me see. Oh yeah, here we go. Thank you, John. How do you prove we're not dreaming right now and dream world is actually reality? I don't know.
I guess we can't.
Philosophy question. Oh boy.
Like how could you?
I would think the only reasoning I could offer is that I have a better memory of this life rather than my dream life. Maybe the dream life is the real one. I don't know. But
until you wake up somewhere else, then you don't remember this at all.
Well, I mean, that's happened before. It's nothing new. I don't know. I don't know. That's a question for a philosophy major or class.
If I knew I was dreaming right now, I would have superpowers. I'd be like super thin. I could eat whatever the hell I wanted. I would have chiseled abs and all my hair. It would be fantastic, but alas, that goes back to the holodeck hypothesis.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. I like that.
Thank you. That's very good.
Holodeck hypothesis. Should trademark that.
All right. So is there anything else? We're coming up on an hour or so.
I'd like to just throw out there a little bit that there are professional dream interpretation.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, do that.
So I looked it up, and let's see. We have there's a few out there. I mean, you can just all I did was type in dream interpretation session, and you can get a 30-minute private dream interpretation session with Lane Dolphin, the dream analyst, and she will give you a private one-on-one consultation for $65 for 30 minutes. You also have, let me see, what else? There is a email correspondence for dream readings. Now, it actually describes like a face-to-face on Zoom or Skype, but there's no price for that. But if you want to do email correspondence, which gives you one dream interpretation, which includes amplification of symbolism, archetypal patterns and symbolism in the dream, and an MP3 recording of your dream reading, all for $115.
Jeez.
I'll do it. I'll do it for 70.
There's more. Don't get your OGs ready, Dave. Here's the big one that I found.
Oh, gee.
So this other one, Dreams by Mimi. If on the day of your reading, this is what you can expect: 60-minute live video call on Zoom. You get time and space to share your dream with Mimi. Mimi's interpretation and insights on key symbols and themes. You get any lessons or actionable steps that the dream is presenting to you. And if there's enough time, she will give advice on how to heighten your dream work, practice, and potentially other resources or spiritual homework for you to engage in. The call is recorded, and you will receive a download link in your email, all for the bargain base price of $325 US. Yes.
I'll still do it for $70.
I'll do it for 50.
Damn it. I'm trying to get us a laboratory here. A laboratory.
Well, you just found your income stream.
There you go. Dream interpretation. So, and I mean, there's plenty of some testimonials here. It's just, it goes on and on. There's like hundreds of different hits on Google for dream interpretation. So it's a business. I mean, you definitely can make some money off of this.
So I think Redman kind of hit on this, what I was thinking. So there's a door, there's an avenue for corruption, for scam, to prey with this.
Yep.
On people.
So this last one that I read, Mimi, in her about section, she also says, I am also a spirit communicator and occultist. So she can talk to the dead. She can interpret your dreams. She can do a lot. So yeah, I mean, there is some overlap, and I'm sure there's going to be overlap if you bring it up. I mean, I haven't seen any actual signs or anything when I go to conventions or anything like that. It's usually psychic, medium, but I haven't seen any dream interpretation, which
is really strange because, yeah, it looks like it would be. It looks like it would be like an avenue for people that are scammers to jump in on now. I wonder why it's not as popular.
I mean, you could charge like, hey, $25. Sit down, tell me your dream. You got 15 minutes. You know, I'm sure people would do it.
Yeah.
Wow. We'll have to do it for our 150th show. We'll set up a booth and we'll just sign up. $25. We'll interpret your dream. You get 3 interpretations for the price of 1.
A 3-for-1 deal.
You give me a small experiment idea.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Get the notebook out.
I am. So if we could take like 10 set answers to any question and call them an interpretation, and have people come up and give a little part of their dream, and then have them draw from this paper and tell them that you draw it, your energy will pick the right answer.
Oh God, energy. Jesus.
Drink.
What the hell? I have no pens. Okay, I'm going to have to write this in a highlighter. So I'm going to be 5 years old. Anyway, I would just like to see how many people would agree with whatever we drew, or we could make them all. Would we make them all the same? Or, I don't know. My mind's kind of a little scattered right now how I want to do it, but just have
that would be interesting.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like how many? Yes,
yeah. It's almost like you're picking your horoscope.
Yes,
out of a bag, and if all the horoscopes are the same,
exactly.
Does it? How many people would say yes? This relates to me.
Yes.
Wow.
See,
wow. It couldn't be us. We can't do it. We got to get somebody else to do it for us.
This is why I get paid the big bucks.
That's right.
In coffee.
Special coffee.
All right. This is gonna be good. Now anybody that's listening to this show won't do it. I blew it. I like that.
That's good.
All right.
All right. We good?
Yeah. Well, Tim just got the drink out my nose award. Thank you, John.
All right.
Okay. So I don't think I've missed any questions. Let me look up here. I don't think so. We're about an hour. I have my daughter visiting, so I'm going to.
Tim wants to get out of here.
Tim's done.
Tim's done. Oh, Tim's already out of here.
John, what's on
tomorrow?
What's on? Type out what you're gonna do.
he's gonna do the experiment tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
I think he's stealing your idea.
That's okay. That's fine. I love that. I absolutely love that, because the more people that do it is better.
Nice. That's cool.
All right. So my final thoughts after all this, I would like to say, it was pretty clear and pretty easy at the beginning. I forget what the other one, ley lines. That's how fast it ended.
Yes.
This one kind of ended. It was pretty open that there is really no scientific backing up that interpretations of dreams work. There was some about the use of it in therapy, but not an interpretation, but a use as an avenue to help people kind of identify with what they're feeling, what they're going through, what their problems are, even with some PTSD candidates with dreams. I think that this is an avenue for more people to be preyed upon. If so, I kind of upsets me a little bit, but outside of the interpretation, I don't see it happening. I don't like that there is an avenue for people to be scammed. I do, however, found it extremely. I have 3 pages of notes on just dreams, and all 3 pages are fascinating, and they all end with, "But we don't really know." And it was still cool as shit to read them all. I absolutely love that tonight, after 102 episodes of some of the weirdest shit that we all could come up with, it's dreams that make us go, I really don't know what the fuck's going on. I have no clue. This is really, Kenny was like, this is weird. I don't know what to do. This is just weird. And that just entertains the hell out of me because it's dreams that end up messing us up. So cheers to that. So what do you think, Dave? I'll pass it off to you.
It's an interesting topic. There obviously isn't any hard science on symbolism and meaning. There's a lot of cool topics we didn't really get too much more into when you talk about the dream telepathy and the premonitions a little bit more and the after death communication. So it's an interesting topic. I mean, Jen has, and she was asking because she does have these dreams that she remembers, and she remembers them for a very long time. And sometimes they are, kind of run of the mill, pretty normal, but other times it's like, wow, where did that come from? But she's one of those people that remembers these dreams for a very long time. And actually the next night she can jump back into the same dream. And I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't know anything about it. And it's kind of like, I wish I did. And I guess we should try to find somebody who might know about dreams and these little side these interesting topics that come up when you talk about dreams, because they're fascinating. I mean, they really are. I wish I could remember my freaking dreams. I can't. And some of them, if you could go back to them and remember them for a long time, actually, if there was more people like that, you probably could study dreams and content and analysis and symbolism a lot easier. Because one of the big things that they noted, and I think I mentioned it early on, is people do not remember their dreams. So it's really hard to collect good quality dream content in order to analyze. So to me, it's pretty interesting. I don't know enough about it. And I, like Jen, I wish I could remember my dreams more and jump back into some of the cooler ones and remember them for a long time.
Very cool.
Kenny?
I'm gonna just say I'm gonna call it how I see it, and there's not gonna be one explanation for this phenomena. Dreams are just all over the place. Some view them as prophetic. Some can. I mean, that experience, Dave, that Jen was talking about or describes is amazing. I wish I could do that. I wish I could have a dream and then immediately just jump back into it, like not just a few minutes later after I woke up and had to pee, but like the next night and the next night. That would be amazing. Some people find it as like a defense mechanism to work out an issue, work out something a problem, and to have a literal a mind's eye holodeck in order to work out that problem without wasting time. It would be really cool. Some people just have the idea that these are just random things that are interpreted by the brain as we sleep, and it's the visual and auditory hallucinations, for lack of a better word. I don't know. I am totally thrown by this, and it's just the more you read about it, the more confusing it gets. It seems, and it's just fascinating. I wish I could dream more. I wish I could have these really cool dreams, even nightmares. I mean, I would be up for that because it would be something different. But I don't have nightmares either. I am just perplexed. I don't know where to go with this. I don't know how to end it except saying dreams are fucked up. That's all I got. So I'm done.
You're done. All right. So coming up for me, I'll just do I do a show every Saturday night with two friends, and we come up with really weird shit, drink, and talk about how weird shit really is. It's Saturday at 8:00. That's about it for me. Dave, how about you?
Same as you, Tim.
All right. So Kenny.
Yeah. So Friday night, I do this little show called the Skeptical Help Bar, and it starts at 8 p.m. on Friday nights. Next Friday, I'll have Bertha Vasquez.
Oh yeah,
I say that right. I met her when I went up to Buffalo for a week for the CSI workshops that I was doing. She's a teacher, and she's I believe she teaches like evolution and other kinds of sciences. I have to get into her bio, but she's one of the I want to say almost like a director of education for CFI, and she runs things called like Young Skeptics. So it's about teaching kids critical thinking and how to think rather than just what to think. Mm-hmm. She does Young Skeptics, and then she does a few other projects, and we're going to get into that. So I'm looking forward to it. She's really cool. Nice lady. Yeah, she's super nice. We had a great conversation when we were hanging out together for that week. So I'm looking forward to having her on. And then the next thing I have is, I don't have it in front of me, but in October, I think like 20th to 23rd or something, and a little bit longer, I'll be in Las Vegas, Nevada for the for SciCon, which is a science conference out there. Yeah, I'll be out there for a while. And I'll be actually we're going out early to drive to California to spend a few days in California, and we should be seeing Melanie.
Oh, that's nice.
We're going to be visiting with her and some other things. Hopefully, if schedules work out, I'm going to be doing some really cool shit. So we'll see. But that's all I have.
All right.
Cool.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody. I hope that this wasn't a dream and I wake up and I have to do this all over again. So it was fun. I don't know. Who's up next?
Kenny.
Not me. That's it. That's all I'm having.
Me.
All right. So let me make sure I get my video that says closing right.
Don't fuck it up.
I'm not going to fuck it up. Thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate all of you guys. I do so much. I'm sure that they do too. So have a good night. It's a long weekend. Be safe this weekend. Yes. And we'll see you next Saturday.
All right.
So I'm not going to fuck it up. No, I'm not going to.
Don't for trust, don't for trust, don't for trust. With the real, this what the need. With the real, what is real. Don't question me. Didn't miss it out. Didn't miss it out. Close everyone. I'm not TV. Don't for trust, don't for trust, don't for trust, don't for trust. And what you say, or you'll get better.